Welcome to the Panavox channel. I'm Eric.
And I'm Joe. And today we're going to talk about an unfortunate incident that happened to Eric. How long ago was this, Eric?
Actually, it was several incidents.
Okay.
Well, this was back in the I guess probably the first decade of the 2000s, I guess.
Okay, so this is somewhere between 2000 and 2010, somewhere in
Yeah,
that time
around
frame.
in there, I think.
Okay, back in the good old days. And Eric was the unfortunate victim more than once, as you say, of computer viruses. And more than one type of a computer virus, am I right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So we kind of want to talk about, what you went through, what particular viruses attacked your computer, what you know about those viruses and how they operate, how you were able to stop them, or at least, come to some sort of a resolution with the problem, what it did to your computer, and your emotional and mental and psychological trauma in dealing with this situation. So there's a lot to talk about here. Let me turn it over to you. Can you give us the historical background? Like, when did the first incident happen? Maybe start with that one more or less, and kind of what you went through, the general overview.
Well, I think I've had probably several computer viruses, but maybe like four or five. But actually, I don't remember how many I had. But probably the worst ones I've had were, I think I had the ransomware viruses. I had that a couple of different times. And I think probably the worst one I had was a what they call a rootkit malware,
Yeah.
and that was probably the worst one. But I think that was the last major one that I had, and for some reason, the last 10 years or so, I think I have not really had any major problems with viruses. So I don't know if that was just a big thing in the past and now it doesn't affect people that much, or if I've just been lucky or what. But yeah, the ransomware, that's where this virus takes over your computer, and this kind of graphical screen will open up, and I'll add a picture to the video after we get done. But yeah, like you get this picture and it'll say something like your computer has been locked, and then it'll be acting like it's like some government organization, like like it'll have a seal, like it looks like a government seal or something that says due to illegal activity on your computer, it has been locked, like they're trying to like scare you or something, like ooh, I got caught. But yeah, and then they'll demand money. And how that works, how this worked when I had the ransomware virus was, I had to, the first time I got the ransomware virus, I just went ahead and paid them like a dummy. And but they used to do that through something called a money pack. And you can like go to a drugstore or somewhere like that and get these little, they're in the section with the gift cards and stuff, and like the prepaid debit cards and that kind of thing with a money pack on them. And you basically take that to the register and you use the money pack when you just want to send money to somebody, like sort of quickly and anonymously.
Yeah.
And that's what it said on that graphical screen that came up. It said, go to the drugstore and get a money pack, and then send us the number or what. So what you do is you go to the store, you buy a money pack, and you pay the amount you want to send it at the register, and then the money pack will have like a number that you give to the person you're sending money to. And then that person will take that number and use that to transfer the money into their bank account or onto a prepaid debit card. And that's what I did. And I remember I went to like a payphone, and I think I gave them like $100 or something. And I don't even remember. They said they would, like give a code, like email me a code or something to unlock the ransomware. And I honestly, I can't even remember if I ended up. I think maybe the first time when I paid, then they gave me a code which actually unlocked the ransomware the first time.
Yeah.
The second time I got the ransomware, I think that was just a few years later, like 3 or 4. I think the second time that happened, I just took my computer to a computer shop and paid him to get rid of, instead of giving money to these, hijackers or hackers or whatever they're called.
Yeah.
That hijack your computer. I just took it to a computer guy that I'd had success with in the past, and he was somehow able to just get the whole virus off of there and my computer, like I didn't lose any files or anything.
When you went through this experience, both times really, when you were basically your computer was being held for ransom and they were demanding money so that you could unlock it. What kind of thoughts and emotions were going through? I mean, how did this impact you emotionally? Were you feeling a sense of anger and rage at the people that done this to you, or were you feeling a sense of just feeling bad that you had fallen into the trap, or a combination of the two, or what were you going through emotionally and mentally?
It wasn't. I guess the first time it happened, it was just a feeling of. I just felt like felt kind of stupid, like I can't believe this happened to my computer. And I'm having to do this, it was just like, it was all like a feeling of embarrassment, like I can't believe these idiots got control of my computer, and they've actually got me calling them to send them money to get this stupid thing off of my computer. Because what the ransomware does, it just encrypts all your files, and it basically locks your computer. Like you can restart your computer, and instead of your desktop come up, you'll just get that same graphical screen will come up again, and it'll say, But I did a little research, and like some of these types of viruses, that's the worst thing you can do is restart your computer, because it'll say, like the message it'll give you, it'll say, if you try to restart your computer, all your files will be deleted. And like, so I've heard that's a bad thing to do, like to restart your computer. You might have to, though, it's like, the best thing is just to keep your computer backed up, so that, if you lose files, you can restore the files. That's just the best policy. It's like, I do a couple different kinds of backups on my computer. I do like a full image backup, which backs up my whole C drive. So like the whole thing can be restored, like with all my programs and files and everything just back the way it was.
Right.
like if everything on my computer gets wiped out. And then I also back up all the individual files to a cloud service.
Yep.
And so
Now,
that's the best way. Like, as long as you've got your files backed up, a virus doesn't have to ruin your whole life,
yeah.
But
That's a good point.
that's probably what I was feeling when that happened to me, is just a little bit of embarrassment and just a feeling of disbelief. Like, I don't believe this is happening to me. Like, and but then later I got even worse, like a worse form of malware called a rootkit.
Yeah.
And that's like the worst kind you can get, because it's designed to, it covertly takes control of your operating system and you don't even know it's there.
It burrows into your system.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure it's the rootkit, but one day I just turned on my computer and I noticed it was just acting funny. Like, I wasn't able to open programs and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, what's going on? It's like none of my programs were working. And I went in and I looked at some of my several different file folders, and all these different files were just missing. Like, and I think what the thing did was it just went into my operating system and just started deleting folders that my computer needs in order to operate.
Yeah.
And so like I would start it up and I would get the desktop with the icons and stuff, but like the functionality of it was next to zero. Like, I couldn't open programs. I think I could still open the file explorer, but aside from that, I couldn't make anything work. And I think when that happened, I just had to do like a complete. I had to completely reformat my whole hard drive and reinstall my operating system and my programs and everything. And that was not a fun experience.
No, I'm sure it wasn't. Just a curious, changing the topic just slightly here. So when you think about all the hardship you went through, the money that you spent, whether you had to pay the ransom or whether you, had to get a computer professional to restore your computer, the lost time, the lost data, the personal inconvenience, does it seem to you that anybody who is responsible for these types of activities should be criminally prosecuted?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
To the fullest extent of the law, for sure.
What would you consider to be an appropriate? Let's just say the person that did this to you impacted the computers of, let's say, a couple of thousand people at least, and the same that impacted you. What do you think would be an appropriate punishment for that person through the legal system?
I would say at least a little bit of prison time.
For real?
For appropriate. Like minimum 5 years prison time.
Okay.
And then that'll give them some time to think about their crimes.
Yeah.
And maybe reform a little bit, hopefully.
Although I was watching a video about people that bait the scammers to try to make their lives miserable. And one of the guys that does this work says that there's almost no prosecution of people who do this. They almost always get away with it, and it's because of it's funny because people talk about the global the problem with global control, or that there's too much control on the international level. I mean, you can make a case for that, but at the same time, I think that there's a lot of chaos internationally. So a lot of these operations that create these viruses. Some of them are based out of the U.S., but a lot of them are based in other countries. And it can be it can be really difficult and complicated to try to bring to justice somebody who has scammed you from a foreign country. Because then
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
you have two governments involved in that, and so it's funny when it comes to, a lot of people say there's too much control going between countries, but in this particular sense, in protecting innocent people, you might argue that there's not enough to keep average everyday people like you and me safe from losing our data or being held for ransom on our own home computers by foreign actors. Or actors domestically. There's also problems with enforcing these laws, I think, domestically as well. This is a topic that I don't know a lot about. It's just some things that I've heard, but just the fact that these people said that it was very difficult to prosecute, to bring these people to justice makes me wonder, maybe maybe more should be done to protect people from these types of attacks.
Yeah. It'd be nice if they could somehow protect people from these attacks. I feel like, like we give the FBI a ton of money and they really don't give us a whole lot in return, as far as, cracking down on cyber crime and stuff like that. It's like you would think the FBI would be able to do more in that area somehow.
I think it's a matter of prioritization. I don't want to dwell on this topic too much longer, but I think that what often happens is that if the FBI is looking for a very big fish to criminally prosecute, they might look for, like, say, a drug cartel or somebody who's fencing millions and millions of dollars through some sort of illegal commercial activity. But this stuff here, where you got I've heard about how these operations work. Could be a small group of guys. Yeah, just as one example, in some internet cafe in India or Pakistan, or Bangladesh or whatever, that are targeting people like you and me. And then, after they've scammed a couple of thousand people, they close up the shop and then they split up and they move off in different directions. It's just becomes very difficult to trace these people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, I think would the FBI spend a lot of time on an operation like this? My guess is probably not. Because there's so these guys, they say, well, hey, this one little internet, we got a bunch of guys that rented one floor of this little building somewhere in Bombay, or no, it's not Bombay, it's Calcutta or whatever. I'm always using the wrong name, because they got the new name for the Indian place. But if they're using one of these places and maybe they get like $1 million or $2 million. They're like, well, that's a lot of money. They scam people out of $2 million. But when you compare it to some drug lord who, who's running a operation that's into the hundreds of millions of dollars, that's this little, internet scam operation is chump change to the FBI. Maybe they're not even going to bother with it. I'm just speculating here. I'm spitballing. Yeah. But,
Yeah. Well, so, what do you think should be done about it, or is there anything that can be done about it?
I think something should be done about it, because you might say each of these individual scammers or scammer groups may only do $1 million here, $2 million there before they fold up and regroup somewhere. But collectively, when you put all of them together, if there are thousands and thousands of these people that are running these operations, then collectively it comes to billions of dollars. Then it is big. I think that maybe the law enforcement agencies, whether United States or abroad, it's convenient for them to focus on one individual or one small group that is managing huge amounts of revenue. Because then they have everything in one package and they can conserve resources to focus on a small number of individuals. But it's when you have lots of these little groups everywhere, I think you require a different type of approach. Here's the thing. It's like, I think it would require a combination of things. There are things that we can do to protect. Like you said, you haven't had any problems with it recently, right? Maybe that has to do with the effectiveness of the computer software that you use has just become better at preventing these types of attacks. So
Yeah.
that's one line of defense. And the other thing is that when people get involved in these types of scams, there needs to be more organizations in different countries all over the world with it. I believe in a coordinated international response. Yeah, I don't know, is it the United Nations or somebody to come together to make some sort of an agreement about how we're going to protect consumers across the planet from these types of activities? And so it's an international problem. I believe it needs international coordination from an international body. That's just my
Yeah.
opinion. What are your thoughts?
No, that sounds good. That sounds good to me. I'm in favor of, I'm in favor of anything they can do that'll stop that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, like they say, the devil's in the details. Everybody can agree that it needs to be stopped, but how is that implemented? I think that it's pretty clear, though, that what we've done up to this point, what the United States government has done, what other governments internationally have done, what the United Nations or any coordinating international body has done, those measures have been inadequate to address the problem. It's still a very
Yeah,
serious problem. So.
that's for sure.
Yeah, so we can all do better, whether domestically, internationally, or whatever. Anyway, but be safe out there, y'all. Don't just click on anything you find. And if you go on one of the places that I surprised me, because a lot of people think, oh, be careful if you go to a pornographic site. That's where you're going to get, a virus. But actually, I was watching a video where they were saying that it's not actually those types of sites, the ones that you think are sketchy. It's the ones where you say, I want to download a nice little app so that I can, get an image from my desktop or something like that.
Yeah,
That's where you can really get burned. It's
right. Yeah,
quickie things, or you want something like download a decal or an icon somewhere, some nice little image. That's where you can run into these things.
yeah. I used to download a lot of images and like little free programs and things from a bunch of different sites. So that's probably how I got infected.
Yeah. Although I wouldn't recommend anybody taking their chances on a sketchy looking porn site. I mean, you could get in trouble there too, probably.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, anyway, I'm glad you haven't been infected recently, and I wish you many more years of virus-free and ransom-free computer activity.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Be safe, everybody. Talk to you later.